Hello, welcome to Graveyard Tours. I am in Laurel, Maryland. Actually, technically, it might even be Burtonsville. At the Columbia Primitive Baptist Church, established 1792, folks. 1792. Okay, so it's pretty old. Here's the church. Now, obviously, this isn't the original 1792 church, but this church is pretty old, okay? I'll show you why how I know. So here's the old stone foundation. Okay, now the church probably became dilapidated, or maybe it burnt down. A lot of these old churches burnt down. So that's the old stone foundation. Probably, I can't tell you if it was the original, even if this is the original 1700s foundation, but there's a good chance that it was. So, of course, the church is closed, and here's the graveyard. Now, I already did a quick walkthrough in the graveyard. Most of the stones here are from the late 1800s. But if you look around, back in the day, this was all farmland, and right now there's power lines here. Cell phone towers are out here, power lines, power stations, and the main power lines going through here. So that preserved this area, but this was all farmland at one time. So that's probably where the priest lives, but there's nobody here right now as far as I know. So anyway, let's take a look at some of these headstones. Now we got a lot of these. Now I've seen these before. They just have like one. Now that might be for section G, because that's a G. And here are the really old ones right here. And what they have is initials EFG right there, that's all. This says LBP, it looks like. This one is unknown because it's leaning over. So this is still an active church, which is amazing that it started in the late 1700s, and the congregation is still going. So these must be like the really old ones. These are big pieces of marble right here. And like I said, the only thing is on there is some kind of initials, and I can't even read that. I see a W, a E, F, W, but it's basically just initials. So here's another old one that we can read. Well, we can read some of it. Born 1863, died 1883. It looks like, and it looks like Mary E. Here's Louisa Gazelle. Born 1865, died 1893. Louisa Sissel. Sorry, it sounds Italian, but I don't know. And of course, then you have a lot of smaller ones out here with just initials, and that says JHA. Other ones, like I said, I already did a walkthrough. I think the oldest one here is 1882, something like that. So not, but I can almost assure you that says SKC. Yeah, these are just initials. But I can almost assure you there's people buried out here that the graves are probably forgotten where they're at. MAG. And here's an old one, 1892. I think this might be the oldest one. It says Mabya. What? I can't really read it. Yeah, M-A-B-Y-A. Mabya. Wife of something. 1892. Died 1892. I've never heard of a name like that. Maba. Wow. That's an old name. And then they have these. This is 1924. I'm amazed. This might have been redone. Because the condition it's in is amazing. So they're still burying people out there, because a bunch of new ones back here. From the 2000s. 1939. 1910. And even John H. Alderton. Born 1838, died 1910. And then you have this. So Here is like the main headstone here. So this looks like it's a family plot here. I bet you this whole thing right here is family. Now I zoomed into these. Those are just initials. But this says Sarah Ellen Waters, beloved wife of Chase C. Ridgely. Now why didn't they give her husband's last name? Very unusual. And here's Thomas Waters, and that's the husband. So I'm gonna step in. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I gotta see this. Aunt Betsy Elizabeth, beloved wife of Dr. Jas Waters, died 1888. So, you know, really weird, really weird. And these are just initials. S-E-R. You can't even read that one. And then this one has this little one here. Anyway, I see a W. That's all I can really read. So I think 1882 is the oldest headstone. But I can assure you, if this congregation started in 1792, you know, there's who knows, maybe the old original graveyard is way back there somewhere and it's been long forgotten, and then maybe the church burnt down and then they reestablished. Here's the back of the church. They reestablished it and brought it back to life again, and then because, you know, late 1800s, they must have started it back up again. I really don't know. So, but anyway. And here's another John Waters. So the Waters family must have lived out here, 1885, and then Elizabeth Waters, 1895. And it's just got the two names on there. Oh no, I'll take that back. Here's somebody else, 1898 it looks like, and nothing on this backside here. So yeah, it's pretty interesting if you think about it. The 1700s in the state of Maryland, you know, I mean, obviously. But this is pretty far away from Annapolis, Maryland, where, you know, that's where most of the Maryland started, was out in Annapolis and stuff like that, and out in Upper Marlboro and stuff, because, you know, there was good farmland out there. Here's 1895, Gary Waters. So the Waters family must have been very big out here. So 1922, Samuel Waters, Ella Waters, 1895. And Inez Bond Waters, 1884, age 7 months, so it must have been a child. Beloved daughter of S.D. and Ella M. Waters. Yeah, suffer little children to come unto me, it says, if you can see that. It's 1884. So, okay, and then, you know, let's go back here, and of course these are just line markers, I'm assuming, because I've seen these before in different graveyards. So, and then of course you have here's 1998, 1939. So this church has been going for quite some time. Here's 2014, 2009, 1948, 1949. And what this thing is, I have no idea. Never seen anything like that. And this looks like, you know, handles to grab. You know what? This might be the old well. Yeah, because this goes down there deep. I don't know if I can show you guys. Oh yeah, this is the old well. Wow, it is huge down there. I don't know if you guys can see down there, but that's pretty wild. Yeah, this is the old well. I don't want to stick my phone down there. If I do, I might drop it. Yeah, look at that. Let's see. Maybe we can see something here. Nah, that's like a cave system down there. Pretty wild, if you ask me. Pretty wild. And this must be another access panel to the well. Yeah, look at that. It's got two handles, so they're able to lift this up and move it. You know? So, and then, of course, this is almost like, this is, you know, like I said, this is Laurel, Maryland. Okay, so look at these little lilas right back there. You see those in the woods? That's telling me that back here, now I did hike back here. I didn't see anything, no headstones, but anything from the 1700s, I can imagine didn't survive whatsoever. Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of them back there, you know, so my assumption is that they there's other, you know, from the 1700s, much early 1800s burials out here that just long forgotten. They probably, maybe they didn't have records, maybe the church burnt down and the foundation was the only thing that was salvageable. But it's very small, very small. But Laurel, Maryland is kind of a big city, believe it or not. And like I said, this is right on the border of Burtonsville, so I'm not sure if it's considered Burtonsville or not. But it's a pretty unique place, because I do know they used to bury the most prestigious people behind the church. And these waters, all these headstones right here are all waters. But did they bury on top where other burials were already placed from the early 1800s and even the late 1700s? That's a possibility. So it's definitely a possibility. But this is pretty wild. So anyway, folks, this will be a short one. Hope you enjoyed it. Just this out of the way in a large city, Laurel, Maryland, out of the way place. Look at these trees. These are some old trees. These are some big old trees. This tree right here in front of the church, that is, you know, that could be 500, 600, 700, 800 years old. It's huge. So anyway, in a busy town of city, actually, of Laurel, and then you have this out of way place. Here's the highway. This is 198. And you know, let's take a peek inside real quick. Yeah, I don't know, like it's kind of blurry. You can tell that these pews and everything are nothing fancy, just old plywood, so probably from the 50s. It has like that 50s feel, you know. So they didn't invent plywood, I think, until, I don't know, maybe in the 40s or in the 50s. So that tells me that plywood looks pretty old and not like a real finished plywood. So it looks like this church was rebuilt probably in the 1950s or somewhere around there. Anyway, folks, that's it. A neat old church, almost in the middle of night. This is right on the outskirts of the city. So, and like I said, it's used to be all farm out here. There's still some farms. They don't really farm out here anymore, but it's these people who own these lands out here. I mean, they own you know, huge estates out here, giant estates. I drove through these neighborhoods out here, these little hidden neighborhoods out here, and there's some huge estates out here with some very large properties. So, you know, there's old money, very old money out here, and these people are hanging on to their land, which is a good thing. It's a good thing because it preserves something that's, you know, because if you go into Laurel City, it's just all, you know, all businesses and houses and stuff like that, just one right after another. Look, they got some swing sets out here, some old-timey swing sets. Anyway, folks, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said in my last video, I said I was going to let the channel die, and you know, I just do this now out of fun because it's not really doing anything for me. But if I find any of these interesting places, I might as well go ahead and film them, and who knows when I'll stop doing it. I don't know. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button or subscribe button if you haven't already, and I would appreciate it. Have a good one.